My name is Andrew Oliveros, and this is And Andrew, a Washington Commanders and Wizards podcast. Well, guys, the Commanders finally had their joint practice with the Miami Dolphins, and let's just say they kicked some ass. Miami Dolphins. I'm tearing up. I'm so emotional. No, but seriously, guys, no, the Commanders cooked. And I'm going to break it all down for you in just a second. But first, I wanted to give a quick shout out and thanks to, because these notes, I was not at training camp, but I was following along on social media. But a great beat writer that put it all together, all the notes together about what went down at training camp, and I'm going to give my reaction to, is the man, the myth, the legend, Zach Selby. He puts a report together for the Commanders. He's the Commanders like PR guy / beat writer. I just want to thank him for helping me with these notes, and so I can bring it to you guys to tell you everything Commanders joint practice with the Miami Dolphins and give you my thoughts about it. So let's get to it. First, we're going to talk wide receivers. They started out with one-on-one drills. Terry McLaurin and Stefon Diggs, they looked sharp as heck, guys. The wide receivers cooked the secondary for the Miami Dolphins. But then I have to remind myself that the Dolphins are not a good football team. Like, maybe last year, they weren't that great either last year. Their head coach got fired. Now he's the offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. Still think he's got a lot in his bag. But yeah, the Miami Dolphins were not a good team. They're not a good team right now either. Yes, they have Malik Willis. He's a good quarterback, but they have a lot of no-name wide receivers. Their cornerbacks. Literally, when I was looking at the notes, the guy Diggs. Diggs has been doing well in Commanders training camp practice against his own teammates, but also the guy he was cooking in coverage for the Miami Dolphins, AJ Green. When I saw AJ Green, I'm like, the guy from the Bengals, didn't he retire? But this is some other scrub. Not schnub. I don't know why I said schnub. Scrub on the Miami Dolphins, AJ Green III. Never heard of him. I don't know who he is. So that should tell you something about who the guys are going up against. Another guy that stood out, Antonio Williams. Guys, I'm telling you, I think this guy's going to be super special. I think he's going to be the type of player that Jahan Dotson was supposed to be for the Commanders, because Jahan came in to kind of like fill that like wide receiver 3-ish to more like 3 role, and he really never could. Maybe it was the coaching with Ron Rivera. Maybe he didn't bring him out to his full potential. I think is he on the Falcons now? Because he was on the Eagles, right? He won that Super Bowl, which is crazy. When he didn't really even, he had a couple good catches for them, and I think he had a crucial one in the Super Bowl. But still, like, Jahan Dotson, I feel like there was so much promise with him, and it didn't come to realization. But with Antonio Williams, man, this guy is good. Key thing with him is that he creates a lot of separation when he's out there on the field. And that's something that I really appreciate about Antonio Williams. Also, obviously, Terry McLaurin, Stefon Diggs. This creating the separation, because with guys that we had before, like maybe a Noah Brown, Zach Ertz, right? They really weren't. Well, one, Noah Brown was never on the field because he was always injured. But a lot of the guys that were out there, it was a lot of practice squad players. Guys couldn't get open, create separation. Now we have receivers that can do that. So I appreciate that the Commanders have that now. It'll be good to actually watch. It'll be fun to watch the offense actually make plays down the field and create separation. Yes, again, it's only a joint practice. The Dolphins are not a good team, but it's just really good to see that it's coming into action, right? We say these things, but now to actually see it happening on the field, step in the right direction. Another guy that stood out, well, maybe not necessarily stood out, but he had a really nice play, is Treylon Burks. He ended the one-on-one drill with one of the better catches. He made an over-the-shoulder catch. That's his go-to. He had the great one against the Denver Broncos last season. That's the thing, man. He makes big splash plays. The big thing with him is can he stay healthy? Because I still think he's got some stuff in the bag, but he just has to stay healthy. Because now that you have Stefon Diggs, it's going to be interesting to see where they kind of fit him into the offense. But that's a good thing when you have a lot of options to go at wide receiver. Before the scraps were what was available for Jayden Daniels in the games that he played. Terry was hurt. Noah Brown was hurt. And we were playing practice squad guys. Some YouTuber says like Uber drivers. My guy, Pro Tech Sports, Tony Hamilton, he's the one that said that. We were playing with Uber drivers at receiver last season. So no more Uber drivers. We got legit talent in the wide receiver room. Something that I'm also really happy about that happened during this joint practice is Jayden Daniels and Stefon Diggs, they continue to connect on the field. During red zone drills, when Diggs got open near the back of the end zone, made a catch for the score. And guys, this is what I continue to hear with Jayden and Stefon Diggs. They keep connecting. And the fact that they're doing this early, Stefon Diggs just joined the team and they're already connecting in this joint practice and during training camp. Like, I can't even imagine how much more developed and good it's going to become regular season and when they continue to develop after each game. I think this wide receiver room, guys, is going to be super nasty. I mean, the talent is there, and it's so refreshing that we finally have an actual wide receiver too. I talked about this on my last podcast, but we were always kind of looking for that wide receiver too. Really never had it. Always had that star guy in Terry, but now Stefon Diggs had over 1,000 yards last season with the Patriots. Guy creates separation. He averaged like 12 plus yards a catch. I'm telling you guys, we got a sneaky room. Nobody's really talking about the Commanders. And before I move on and talk about the defense, I just want to talk about a huge, huge, huge sign of disrespect. So I was at work earlier today covering, helping out on the B. Mitch, Brian Mitchell, and JP Finley show at 106.7 The Fan. And B. Mitch and JP Finley, they were talking about this power ranking that came out by NFL.com. NFL.com. I'm just thinking, how dare they do this? They ranked the Commanders, and let me just say this. There are 32 teams in the NFL, and you know where they ranked the Commanders? 29th. 29th. What is that trash? I think they had the Giants, but we swept the Giants 2 years in a row. How do they have the Giants above us? Oh, yeah, the John Harbaugh. Bro, the Giants are stinking it up in training camp right now. We also had another guy, Pat Spencer from New York the Daily News or whatever. He's a NFL beat writer for the Giants. He's saying that Jackson Dart is struggling. And you're going to put them over the Commanders? You know what? That's okay. Continue to disrespect us. And then when it comes playoff season and the Commanders are right there kicking ass, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. All right. We move on. So let's now talk about the defense. And guys, this defense, I get goosebumps just thinking about this defense because they have studs on there. They're faster, more athletic, talent-wise, skill-wise. I mean, all you want, this defense has got it. They're not perfect, right? They're going to have to test it out come preseason and during regular season, right? But what we're seeing in training camp, guys, these guys are looking fast. They're dominating on the field. These are some words that Zach Selby said to describe the defense with the Commanders during this joint practice with the Dolphins. Loud, disruptive, energetic. Zach Selby was saying how they're putting pressure on the quarterbacks and swatting balls out of the air. Several of the plays were stopped behind the line of scrimmage on the first play of the second 11-on-11 period. Amik Robertson, new cornerback for the Washington Commanders, came from the Lions, blitzed into the backfield and took the running back down for a loss. And a quick side note about Amik Robertson, and then we're going to continue to talk about the domination of the defensive line and those guys out there. So with Amik Robertson, when he was signed by the when the Commanders signed for him, I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous. Didn't really know too much about Amik. I actually remember him from the NFC divisional game against the Detroit Lions, and he was okay. He still got cooked by our guys, but average. And when we signed him, I'm like, okay, good depth piece. But it looks like he's going to start, guys, for the Commanders in that slot/nickel position. Yes, joint practice. He had a nice pass breakup. He's not some chump. Like, the guy can ball. I don't know if he's starter material, but this is what I'm more nervous about. I'm worried about the depth of this cornerback room, guys, because there's not a lot there. Right now, we have Amik Robertson, who's going to play slot. Mikey Sainristil, who also, during joint practice, did have a pick six. But guys, majority of training camp for the Commanders, reportedly he's not. Mikey Sainristil has not been playing well. He's not looked sharp, and it's been noticed by members of the media. So that worries me. What we'll see how things turn out, but it is good that he did get the pick six. But again, we have to remember it's against the Dolphins, who are not a good football team, at least at this moment in time. And then we also, another guy that the Commanders brought in is Rasul Douglas, but the guy's a 9-year NFL veteran. I don't want to rely on a 9-year vet as a prime starter. Well, I don't know if he'll play starter, but as someone who might have to be in that starter role because Trey Amos injured once again. Do not like to have these consistent injuries with Trey Amos. I was really excited for him coming out. What did he play? He played at Ole Miss. Really excited to see what he did. He played really well when he was healthy, but then he got hurt, and he's been consistently hurt. Yeah, a little nervous about the cornerback room, but there's a big but. I think the defensive line is going to be able to hold up. If the defensive line can dominate, and they've been dominating for sure in training camp, I think it could take pressure off the corners. They cooked the Dolphins. They ate them for breakfast. First guy, I keep hearing this guy's name, and I'm getting pretty excited. K'Lavon Chaisson. Want to make sure I say his name correctly, and if I don't, apologize. But Zach Selby saying he practically lived in the backfield. Took down quarterback Malik Willis for what would have been a sack on the play. Later in the drive, he got another tackle at the line of scrimmage with one of the running backs running on the outside. Got him for a loss or right at the line of scrimmage. So K'Lavon Chaisson, and I think the Commanders just signed him to like a 1-year deal. He also played with the Patriots, but guys, this defensive line, you add these guys together, you got Deron Payne, who's been cooking in training camp, hearing a lot of good things, how dominant he's on the line. K'Lavon Chaisson, Odafe Owe, what's the guy? Johnny Newton. I'm really hoping Johnny Newton can step up because he's just kind of been middle of the pack, and we picked him, like second or third round? Guy needs to step up, but we got a lot of guys in the trenches for the Commanders. And another guy that I want to talk about, who's also been making a lot of noise, rookie out of Tennessee, Joshua Josephs, the edge. He's been playing really well for the during training camp. There was this one play. Well, actually, let me back up. The Commanders defense, supposedly they're swarming to the ball. Absolutely love this. I felt like with the defense before with our unks, as Doc Walker calls them, the AARP players, that they would kind of just like stand around and wouldn't like attack for the ball, right? Or they wouldn't pounce for the ball. And these guys, they swarm for that football. And I love that, right? Ball is life. They tried to preach that before, but the guys just weren't doing it because they just weren't fast enough, athletic enough. But these guys are faster and athletic, and they're showing it off on the field during training camp and during this joint practice. So Joshua Josephs was able to get to a player real quick. Also, Leo Chanel, the guy that we got from the Chiefs, really like him as well. Again, Deron Payne forcing Willis to leave the pocket. And then on another play, I'm telling you, this Josephs kid, watch out for him. He's going to be really good. At least I think so. At least that's what he's showing on the field, showing on the tape. Joseph forced quarterback Quinn Ewers. Man, what happened to Quinn Ewers? He was on the cover of NCAA, the college football game, and now the guy's like a third string on the Dolphins. Man, that tells you, man, sometimes quarterbacks in the college, they can't translate to the NFL. This guy was supposed to be generational, but look where he is now. I mean, I hope for the best for him, but yeah, back to the important guys with our players. Josephs forced quarterback Quinn Ewers to throw a pass into the dirt because of how he's supposedly sniffed out a play action pass. It would have been recorded as a sack. So love to see that not only the pressure, but the sacks, the quote unquote sacks, because I can't sack the guys in the joint practice, but that Josephs was getting, the pressure he's getting. I'm super excited to see that. In terms of running backs kind of had a quiet day, reportedly. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt actually played quite well. He ran hard when he was on the field. Supposedly on the final play of the move the ball period, he barreled into one of the Dolphins defenders before running out of bounds. This is the thing about Bill, my guy Bill. Love the guy Bill. When I think of Bill, I just think of the song Bill, 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 Bill Nye the Science Guy. How about instead of Bill Nye the Science Guy, we say Bill Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. That's too many words, but the football guy. Bill, 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 Bill the football guy. That might work. It might not work, but that's fun. Whatever. But no, guys, Ja'Cory, he's really upped his game. Not only does he look stronger, I was at training camp. That guy grew some muscle. He looks bigger. His speed is still there. Put a lot of work into the offseason with his catching. He's been catching a lot of balls in the flat, which I really like. Last year, he was really only being used in the run game, but in the catching game, it seems like he's going to be more used. Him, you got Rashad White, the kid that was Katron Allen as well. Running back room, guys. It looks exciting. I mean, I know, yes, they kind of had a slow day today, but love to hear that Ja'Cory is continuing, or Bill, our guy, is continuing to develop well and do good stuff on the field. And let's talk 2-minute drill. So the day ended with a 2-minute drill, and Daniels, my guy, JD5. I've kind of been focusing on other options. You guys are probably thinking, what about Jayden Daniels? I'm not saying much about Jayden Daniels because I don't want the secret to come out, because people have forgotten about how good Jayden Daniels is, and the man has been balling out in training camp and cooked in this joint practice. He connected to, obviously, to Stefon Diggs in this 2-minute drill. Chigakonkwo, that new tight end we got. Really expecting a lot out of Chigakonkwo. Going to be a lot better, I think, than Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz catches the ball, drops. Chigakonkwo catches the ball, goes for another, 9-10 yards. That's what I want. And then Treylon Burks. Guys, Daniels, he's looking sharp every single day. He's so accurate. The way he places the ball is just like otherworldly. It's ridiculous. And I love it because he's my quarterback. So thank God. Absolutely love it. And so that was offense in the 2-minute drill. And then defense, again, these guys. Calebon Chason would have gotten a sack on the first play. Odafe Owe recorded the pressure to force an incompletion on the next play. Guys, it's all coming together. This is one thing that I want to leave with you. I absolutely love this quote. It was from Amik Robertson after practice, or it might have been before, but let me just read you guys this quote. And it kind of just defines like what this team is right now. He said this: I told the guys, everything we did out there, we knew we were going to do. That's just got to be the mindset. Anybody that steps to this side, they don't belong on the field with us. Man, I just took a breath because, man, that gives me goosebumps, guys. We got some swagger again with this team. Before, this team was just like, ugh. And like what? They had 4 wins last year. They just stunk. There was no energy, moxie. But this team's I think they've got their moxie back. And they're showing it out on the field too. It's early. I get that. But it looks like the Commanders might be back, guys. And before you know it, who knows what's next? Playoffs? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? We got to win a game. If you know, you know. But no, but seriously, guys, Commanders, it's going to be an exciting season. My name is Andrew Oliveros, and this is And Andrew, a Washington Commanders and Wizards podcast. Guys, I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast or watching me on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my YouTube channel. Also subscribe/like on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. But guys, I appreciate you very, very much. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye.